All right, so welcome back. We are at episode 3, and today we are looking at the last pillar of aligned, liberated, and abundant. Abundance, right? Um, just start off, this idea of abundance is much more than money. Abundance really does lay in mindset and spills over into all things, our perspective, how we show up, all of the things and the things that we perceive. All right, so if you are here and wondering if you should be here, this show is created for high achieving women who realize that there is something missing despite the accomplishments. And you're probably yearning for more joy, ease, and fulfillment. If this sounds like you, you're in the right place. I created this podcast because I believe that true success lies not in the corner office, not in the 6 or 7 figure salary, not in the job titles, right? But it's about living a life that's authentically aligned with your soul's purpose, feeling liberated from societal expectations and limiting beliefs, and experiencing abundance in all areas of your life. I'm your host, Dr. Toya Davis, and I am so happy that you have joined me here today. All right. So, why is an abundance mindset so powerful? When you operate from a place of abundance, a few things happen. One, you're more creative and innovative in problem solving, right? Because you know that there is more. You literally start the thinking process from the idea that possibilities are endless. Okay. You attract more opportunities and resources. You experience greater joy and fulfillment in your daily life. You're resilient in the face of challenges, and you're able to give and receive more freely. Now, some of you know me, right, and understand some of my underlying ideologies and concepts, but some of you are new. So one of the things that really underlines how I show up, or underlies how I show up in this world, is the belief and perspective of these universal concepts and universal laws, right? And in that, I know that there is no limitation. There is never lack. There is only possibility. There is, in the space where there does feel like constraint and restraint, that it is self-imposed. And I need to go back. We talked about this in the last episode, right? That awareness idea, understanding where those feelings of limitation are coming up from so that I can work through that and rewrite that, right? But in the larger landscape, abundance is there. Abundance is my birthright. Abundance is your birthright, right? Before I go too far into today's podcast, I would like to point out that I do have an affirmation mandala coloring book called Abundance. I don't remember what it's called, but I will drop it. If you look in the show notes, there should be a link for you to get to my Amazon author page. And on that page, you will see there are actually 3 different my affirmation mandala coloring books, and one of them is around abundance. All right. And the affirmations in that are amazing, if I do say so myself, right? The affirmations in that are amazing. So feel free to check it out and download it. All right. I mean, check it out and purchase it. All right. So I mentioned this idea of an abundance mindset, and it's really powerful because how it shapes and frames the world, right? How it determines having an abundance mindset determines how you show up, right? It negates the ability to be self-defeating or self-defeatist, right? It really makes it hard for you to gravitate to the negativity and be aligned with those energies and those things that are negative. Because again, the mindset, when we cultivate the abundance mindset, says that there is always more, right? And so if I've missed this thing, no problem, it'll come back again. All right. If this opportunity didn't align for me, no problem. There's more, right? The abundance mindset that says that there's always more. I don't need to hoard, which is a limiting belief. Going back to liberation, right? I don't need to hoard this energy. I don't need to hoard this idea. I don't need to hoard this friendship or this relationship. I don't need to hoard any of these things because there is more, right? The abundance mindset, speaking of relationships, also plays into relationships, right? We hold on to the thing because we don't think that there is something else. But there is, or there can be. I'm not saying now let's just be out here willy-nilly, ending all the relationships because you're like, oh, something else is going to come along. It will, right? But let's value people, as long as the value of people is secondary to the value of ourselves. Check out last podcast for that. All right. So many of us have been conditioned to operate from a scarcity mindset, right? The belief that there's never enough to go around. And this can manifest as constant worry about money, right? This creates competitive behavior. This creates that, again, that tendency to hoard. If you find yourself thinking things like, I'll never have enough, someone else's success means that there is less for me, I don't deserve abundance, there might be the possibility that you're operating from the scarcity mindset. And the thing with abundance is it absolutely cannot find you if you are operating in an energy and a frequency that is opposite or counter to it, right? So if you're operating from the mindset of scarcity, again, going back to this notion of universal laws, right? Going back to this, if you're operating in this particular energy, you're operating in this particular frequency, which is scarcity, then you can't attract something else. You will continue to attract scarcity. You will continue to attract lack. So coming into awareness of where we are operating in those spaces and in those places is important, because if we can't identify where those ideas and concepts are showing up, it's difficult to rewrite the narrative around them. All right. So let's just start by taking a moment and affirm for yourself, abundance is your birthright. However you need that to happen or look, I want you to just take a few moments and do that, right? You could take a deep breath. Abundance is my birthright. You can write it out. Going back to that, the reason I actually created those affirmation mandalas was to help reprogram and to help reinforce the notion and idea that abundance is your birthright, right? And so they are a bunch of affirmations. I can't remember how many pages the book is. Maybe, I can't remember. I don't want to lie. But they are all intended to reframe your perception of wealth and abundance. All right. So take a moment. I just said that. Let's take a moment. Abundance is my birthright. Abundance is my birthright. Abundance is my birthright. I like to put my hand over my heart when I finish something that I needed to feel good, right? I needed to kind of maybe shift the energy that's in my heart, that's in my heart space, shift the energy that I've been carrying. Putting my hand to my heart is kind of that seal for me. All right. So if that practice or that idea or that notion doesn't feel aligned with you, that's fine. Whatever works, right? Write it out, journal it out, draw a picture about it, put it as your screensaver. But let's start with the idea that abundance is your birthright. All right. So here are some other ways that you can cultivate mindset. I'm sorry, cultivate a mindset. Cultivate an abundance mindset. All right. Gratitude. Gratitude, or the practice of gratitude in and of itself, is a frequency shifter. Okay. When you were in the space and place of gratitude, it is impossible to experience the burden of the not having, right? Because you are looking at the things that you do have. Every situation has exists in a spectrum, right? Every situation. There is the light and dark, right? Light and dark is the same thing, just on two sides of the spectrum. full and hungry, right? It's the same thing. They're just on two sides of the spectrum. So if I am focused on this side, which is the light, then I can't be on this side, which is the dark, because I can physically only be in one space at a time. Okay. Interesting. My hand raised itself on the podcast, on the video. Okay. Moving on. Reframing challenges. So practicing gratitude, reframing challenges. One of the things that has been monumental in shifting my life and creating lasting change in my life is when situations occur, asking myself, why is this happening to me? Or why is this happening for me? I'm sorry, the hand was really distracting me. Why is this happening for me? Right? Shifting that perspective and reframing that from why is this happening to me? Oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? All of these things are happening to me. Oh my goodness, right? Reshifting that, shifting my perspective takes me out of victim mode and puts me into empowerment mode, right? And in that is where I can see the opportunity for growth, the opportunity for abundance, the opportunity for things to happen and flourish out of that situation that are in alignment for my best and highest good. Using abundance language. Pay attention to the words that you're using, right? So again, going back to things where we have been conditioned. We have been conditioned, at least let me not speak for you. I don't know about I don't know how you grew up, right? But I'm just going to use this as an example. So like when someone would ask for money, and this was, no one explicitly said, say this as your answer, right? We learn, particularly in our youth, we learn by modeling behavior. We learn from what we've seen. We learn by being in situations consistently and recognizing the patterns, and then we accept and we adapt those patterns into our own life. So if someone comes up and say, oh, I don't, can I have? Oh, I don't have it. Nah, nah, I'm broke. There's this, oh, I'm broker than the joke, right? All of those types of things and those phrases, which are not meant intentionally to cause and create limitation and lack, but the mind doesn't know the difference between real and fake. So if you're saying consistently, I don't have it, the universe conspires to make the things that we say true without judgment, without judgment. Good, bad, right, wrong, indifferent, without judgment. It is working to make those things come to fruition. So being really mindful of the words that we're saying, recognizing that every word is a prayer. I was on this, I was a guest on this podcast last week, or maybe it was earlier this week. And I said, I try to live my life, or I approach the notion of living life is that everything that I do is a prayer. It's an offering, right? It is, I recognize that all things are coming together. I don't get to parse out that, oh, when I take this particular position, or when I am in this posture, or when I do these things, and only in that moment do my words count. Only in that moment does my intention matter. No, my words and my intention count and matter 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so understanding that, it becomes really important to understand the language that you're using. All right. Cultivating generosity. Look, for what we put out comes back, right? Whether it's your time, it doesn't have to be money, right? Time, knowledge, resources, all of those things, as you give that out, opens up more ways and more times to succeed. Celebrate other people's success. In this day and age of social media, that is such an easy one to do, right? Don't give the thumbs up, y'all. Go ahead and hit the heart on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm only really on Facebook. Facebook is my platform of choice, but every now and then I hop over on there on Instagram. So it took me a minute to say, wait, what do you do on Instagram? Right? Say congratulations, send a text, do whatever, congratulate other people, because all of these things are shifting your energy, right? All of these things are raising your vibration. And as you raise your vibration, again, going back to this thing, right? I can't be here and here at the same time. So as I'm sorry, people on podcasts can't see my hand gestures. I can't be in light and in dark at the same time. So as I am doing things to raise my energy and shift my vibration, I'm moving and moving closer to the thing that I want, which in this case, today, what we're talking about is abundance, right? So I can't be in lack and abundance. Okay. Inspired action, right? You've come into awareness, you've said the things to start to shift the mindset. Now take inspired action. Self-worth. Remember, I talked about in the beginning, a lot of times our lack of abundance comes from the fact that we don't believe that we deserve abundance. Right. And so recognizing that I absolutely deserve to have all of the things that I want and I desire. All right. And then surround yourself with the energy of abundance. Whatever that, again, this notion of abundance is not a singular one size fits all, right? What may feel abundance to me and look like and represent abundance to me, even the mindset of it, might feel restricting and limiting to you. And even if that's the case, I would say that you go and you challenge why those things feel restricting and limiting. Are there some limiting beliefs in there that is making that thing feel that way to you? Right? But the thing that's important here is like, you must start where you are. Okay, wherever that is, whatever feels comfortable and just for you in this moment, and continue to go through the weave or go through the web and unweave those threads that are keeping you stuck in place or keeping you at a certain capacity, right? If there's a threshold, I say you've only been able to amass this amount of success or this amount of money or be in this relationship for this amount of time. Like there's some type of cap or limitation. All of that, all of those things are indications that somewhere in there is a reframing that needs to happen around some idea or concept. All right. So those are ways that you can start to reframe your abundance mindset. As you embrace an abundance mindset, you may notice shifts not just in your external circumstances, but how you feel on a day-to-day basis. You will likely feel more joy, peace, and a sense of flow in your life and business. Why? Because we are now operating at a different frequency. What's really important for you to understand is that literally by doing these things, by operating from a place of gratitude, by affirming the goodness, by looking at things from this notion that there is always more, that there's more possibility, that there's more opportunity, that there's another thing that will flow your way, it literally reduces the anxiety that your body is feeling. It lowers your stress level. And all of these things are going to have an impact on you emotionally, physically, mentally, all of these things. All right. So as things are starting to shift, you will notice the change in your body. All right. So these first introductory episodes have really just been about, like I said, looking at the pillars of abundance, liberation, and joy. Not a pillar, but we absolutely welcome joy. Abundance, liberation, alignment, liberation, and abundance. I was like, what is happening right now? Alignment, liberation, and abundance. All right. And in our next episode, we are really going to start kind of having conversations and topics. So if there's something that you want me to talk about, again, feel free, send me an email, to connect with me on social media, to drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat. I would absolutely love to to explore the things that you all want to talk about. All right. Other thing is, remember that this or all of the podcast episodes also come with a blog. If you are interested in receiving that blog, check out the link in the show notes or the comments or the description. But drlatoyadavis.com/blog is where you can find all of the blog posts. And you can also join our mailing list in order to receive them in your email. All right. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's show. Until next time, remember that you are worthy of a life and business that lights you up from the inside out. Let's create that together. Until next time, stay aligned, liberated, and abundant. Peace.